Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aniyal FiverrWala. I am a student of Rahan School, Korangi campus. So today we have another great guest in our show. Her name is Devi Langley. So first we welcome her in our show. So hello ma'am, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me in to do this interview.
Okay, thank you so much. So ma'am, before moving on questions, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Debbie Langley and I'm a profit coach. I help business owners to make more money because you can bring in all kinds of revenue, but if you don't make enough profit, your company won't survive. So that's my goal is to help entrepreneurs bring in the most profit that they can on their product or service.
Okay, that's really wonderful. So, my first question on your screen is, can you share a bit about your background and what led you to become a business coach?
Sure, that's great. I have been an entrepreneur myself for 40 years. I grew up in an entrepreneurial home with my dad owning his own auto repair shop as well as a gas station. And I started working for him when I was in like second grade. And we did all kinds of different jobs. But I have known that I was always going to be an entrepreneur because I liked the freedom that owning your own business gave you. It gives you freedom in determining how much money you're going to make, as well as how you spend your time. I um, became a coach because I see so many of the those entrepreneurs out there who are starting or who have been in business for a while and are struggling to make a profit or to actually make their dreams become a reality. I have got my first certification as a coach back in 2001, and I started with life coaching. Since the pandemic, I have really focused on helping entrepreneurs to make more profit and to spend less time working so that they can be with their family. Because during the pandemic, one of the things that happened is that parents got the time to be home with their kids for the first time and got to know what it was like to be involved in their kids' lives. And they want that. And the whole time I was raising my six children, I had that opportunity. I was there with my kids, I was there participating with them. And I want to help parents be able to do that.
Really wonderful. So, my next question on your screen is, what inspired you to focus on helping business owners make more profit and work fewer hours?
Well, one of the things that happens is that with business owners, they think that they have to put in a lot of hours in order to make more money. And so they keep working and working and they miss out on the very thing that they started their business to for is so that they could have more time with their family and to um, make more money because they keep working all these hours thinking they're going to make more money, and unless they optimize their business and their costs and the routines that they do, they're not going to make more profit. You know, what they take home is a reflection of the work that they had done to optimize their profits. And so I want them to make as much money as they can and to do it in as little time as possible. And when I say that, it's not, in months or years. It's, if you're a mom and dad, you want to be home with your kids as much as you can. I want to make your work week 25 to less than 40 hours a week so that you can really be involved in your children's lives.
For answering my questions. So, my next question on your screen is, can you describe a success story of a client you have worked with who significantly increased their profits and reduced their workload?
Sure. Um, One of the people I worked with was real estate investor. They were just starting out, and they it's a great field to make money in, if you're prepared right. Um, they had done some education, so they knew what they were doing, but we had to put in systems so that they did certain things at certain times, and they were able to um, look at their the projects that they were bidding on, and we actually reverse engineered our prices when we wanted to purchase a piece of property. We would say, okay, this is how much money we want to make as profit on this project. And when we do that, then we looked at the repairs and the cost, and then figured out our the price that we would offer on the project. And in doing that, we were able to cut down the amount of time that they spent to just 15 hours a week. In and that was we also streamlined how they would choose their projects that they would go out and make an offer on, and defined what it was that they wanted to focus on. And that business actually in 2 years became a 7-figure business.
Answering my question. So, my next question on your screen is, in your opinion, what are the most common challenges that business owners face when it comes to profitability and time management?
One of the biggest challenges is that most business owners do not have a business plan. And when I start working with them, that's something that we put together as a business plan, because that's your roadmap to determine how you're going to go about selling your product or your service, how you're going to market it. It is really your roadmap. And if you don't have a business plan, what happens is it's like throwing darts, and you throw a dart here and a dart there, and you might hit a bullseye, but you're likely to hit on the outer ring or maybe off the target all completely.
Thank you so much for answering my question. So, my next question on your screen is, how do you assess a business owner's current situation before creating a strategy for them?
That's a great question. What I do when I go in with a business is that we look at everything. We look at the books, we look at the product that they're selling. We do we look at their costs. We look at what they're doing with their time, how much time they're spending doing certain tasks, because and that's really important, because when a person is spending their time, it's valuable. It's time that you can't get back. And most people spend 80% of their time doing tasks that only bring in 20% of their income. So we try and refine that so that you're spending 80% of your time on that 20% that I think I said that wrong. They spend 80% of their time on tasks that only bring in 20% of their income. And we want to reverse it. We want to make 80% of your time. Let's see. I'm all confused. Sorry. We want to spend their time mostly on what brings in the most amount of money. And so we want 80% of their time spent on the tasks that are bringing in the most amount of their money. We also look at their whole family situation because as a business owner, you are more than just your business. You are um, your family, your home, your whole life situation is part of it, and we want to balance that right at the beginning and and work towards streamlining as much as we can.
Wonderful. So, my next question on your screen is, what are the key principles or strategies you often recommend to business owners looking to improve their profitability?
One of the biggest things that we can do is look at your cost of your product. Many times a business owner gets complacent and they have looked for a good price years ago, but then they have, just been doing the same price and accepting all this price increases and without adjusting their own price. So we look at the cost of goods and then are you priced right? And how are you marketing? Are you marketing to your target audience or to the audience that most wants your product? Those are three things that we do.
Really wonderful, amazing. So, my next question on your screen is, how do you help business owners identify areas where they can streamline their operations and save time?
I have them keep a calendar. And for 1 week, I want them to write down everything that they do, whether it's in the family or in their business. I have them write down how much time they spend doing certain tasks. And then we see how they're doing it. Many times, a business owner will do, 10, 15 minutes of emails here and 10, 15 minutes there, and, do it 3 or 4 times during the day. And a task like that is done much better by giving a block of, say, 30 minutes and maybe even 45 minutes to do all your correspondence. Because when you start a task, it takes you a good 20 minutes to switch to a new task. So if you do your emails all at the same time, then you're cutting down the number of minutes you have to spend doing your emails. And because you're doing a repetitive action, you get faster, your replies get faster, and they actually get better. So that's the biggest thing that I have them do is look at what they're actually spending their time doing for a week. And then we'll look at how we can systemize that and streamline it.
Thank you so much for answering my question. So, my next question on your screen is, can you share some effective techniques for achieving a work life balance while running a successful business?
Sure. That is a wonderful question. I do not believe in work life balance. I think that is a myth. And we have lots of people pushing that myth. Um, but the truth is that your life, your family requires things at certain times, your business requires things at certain times, even your household requires your attention at times. So if we can integrate them into one unit and treat them more like a river, that as it goes, if it bends one way, everything goes and then it bends and comes back, and it gives and takes as it needs, but everybody feels satisfied. They do not feel like they're being robbed, but we think of it as one unit rather than as three separate entities, or if you have other responsibilities outside of your home, family, and business, we incorporate all that into one unit so that everybody gets satisfied and feels like they're fulfilled and getting the attention they need.
Okay, that's really wonderful. So, my next question on your screen is, what role does a mindset play in a business owner's ability to increase profits and work fewer hours?
Mindset's important. It affects everything. If you believe something is possible, it is. If you believe it's not possible, then it isn't. It starts with that. Also, um, having the mindset of an abundance mindset is really important, because in an abundance mindset, you're thinking that there's plenty to go around. If you have a scarcity mindset, what happens is that you think if you win, somebody else is going to lose. And it, it's always a, a, a detriment to you to have a scarcity mindset. There are plenty of customers out there. There's tons of money out there. You just have to have that type of mindset that opens you up to bring all that into your life. So we want to have an abundance mindset. We want to have a belief system that we believe we can. And so we do. When I coach, I work a lot on mindset. Um, Sometimes we're like a flea, that if you put a flea in a jar and put a lid over the top of it, the flea will jump up as high as that lid and hit that lid and hit that lid and hit that lid. And then all of a sudden it says, I'm tired of banging my head, so I'm going to not jump that high anymore. And you can take the lid off, and that flea will never get out of the bottle. What we want to do is we want to erase those kind of limitations, because we really can get whatever we want. We just have to have the mindset to do it.
Thank you so much for this wonderful answer. So, my next question on your screen is, what are some common misconceptions or myths about improving profitability and time management in business?
The biggest thing that I see is the myth that more revenue means more profits. I was talking with one business owner who had been going at $1.5 million for a number of years, and they've been bringing home a $100,000 in income during that time each year. The next year, they went up to 2.5 million, and they dropped down to $50,000 in income. And it wasn't that they that they made more money and they were going to make more money. They actually lost money because they changed some of their practices, and they didn't shop around and get the best prices for the cost of their goods. So that's the biggest myth, is that more revenue equals more profit. It doesn't. And the other myth is that in order to get more revenue, you have to spend more time. And that's a huge myth, because the reality is, if you let other people work on what they do best, you can step away, and instead of being owned by the business, you can be an actual business owner and make more money.
Amazing and wonderful answer. So, my next question on your screen is, can you discuss the importance of setting clear goals and priorities for business owners seeking to achieve better results?
Definitely. If you don't have a clear goal of what you want to accomplish, um, then you don't know what your priorities are going to be. And if you don't know what your priorities are going to be, you don't spend your time well. You just go from here to there. You're kind of like a squirrel, or you only focus on one thing and you forget about all the rest of your business. And either way, you are actually hurting your profits and costing yourself in time that you can't ever get back.
Okay, thank you so much for answering my question. So, my next question on your screen is, what strategies do you recommend for managing and delegating tasks effectively within a business?
Well, I believe that you should do what you do best. Each of us has a zone of genius in which we are really good at it. Um, but then we have team members of our team that are really good at other things. So, um, say my zone of genius is strategy and planning and implementation. I don't necessarily have the same skills in, say, accounting. So I would be better in delegating accounting to somebody else because that's their zone of genius. And maybe there's somebody that is better at manufacturing your product. You don't, when you delegate and you let somebody work in their own zone of genius, you have freed yourself up to do something you really enjoy and that you're good at, and you improve your product or service. So, the other part of delegating is you got to be willing to say, hey, um, this is what I'd like you to do, and let them do it and check in often to make sure that things are going the way they should. Because if you blindly delegate and don't check in, oftentimes things don't get done the way they're supposed to or the way you want them to be done, or at least in a timely manner. Um, or they may not fully understand what you're expecting of them. But you got to give them the freedom to do what they do best and be able to take advice from them since that's their zone of genius.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering my question. So, my next question on your screen is, how do you help business owners identify and capitalize on new revenue opportunities?
I think that starts with knowing the product and knowing your market and looking back at the business plan, because when you have a business plan in place, it already has a direction that you're going. And when you want to identify new revenue sources, that um, that compass or roadmap that you establish with your business plan is going to direct you in the right direction, because you've been going in there and checking back and making sure you're on task and that what you put down in that plan is right. I suggest doing it every quarter, um, but you can then see different opportunities that are available. How do you can you expand either with different products in the same line, or services that expand on the product that you are doing? There are a lot of ways, brainstorm. Don't be afraid to do a brain map. Or, one of the easiest ways is to sit down and say, okay, if I was going to expand this product, how would I do that? And use sticky notes and write down all the ideas that come. Nothing is off the board, and stick them up on the wall and look at them for a week and take them down, those that don't feel right. And you'll be surprised at what comes up.
Okay, thank you so much for this wonderful answer. So, lastly, that what advice and what message you want to give our audience?
You can do it. You really can be the master of your destiny with a business. And don't be afraid to get a coach, because what a coach does is a coach gives you skills that you can translate all the way down the line in your life. Um, when you, if you're on a sports team, you expect to have a coach. Well, the same thing happens in business and in life. We all need coaches because we don't know what we don't know. And what you don't know is holding you back and keeping you from making the profit and the having the time to do those things that you want to do.
Okay, ma'am, thank you so much for this wonderful advice and your precious time. So, we are ending today's interview. Hope you guys got to learn something new from this interview and something unique. So, thank you so much for watching us. Allah Hafiz, Pakistan, Zindabad.